All right. Well, welcome everyone. We are back tonight to share with you some progress on the wayfinding signage concepts for the that will be we're going to particularly focus on those that would go in the public right of way. So this is following up on some prior work, which we'll recap a little bit tonight. The overall plan for wayfinding signage, um, the the logos that we previously developed and now have further developed as part of, really um, fleshing out the designs. We've had a meeting with Virginia Department of Transportation, who has clarified some rules of the game for us, which obviously will influence the signs. So we're real happy and excited. We think we've got stuff you're going to like. So without further ado, I guess I'm going to turn it over to probably Jody to walk us through these slides.
Sure. Thanks, Liz. Yeah, as Liz mentioned, this is kind of a follow-on of some prior work that I believe most, if not all of you, are well acquainted with at this point. Um, and as far as the overview of the wayfinding process, the first phase was a strategy, which was to determine the types of signage needed and where we would recommend they be placed or replaced. And that was completed last in May of 2025. And then as a result of that first phase, it was determined that we got feedback that folks wanted to take a closer look at the branding or refreshing the branding for Lake Anne, since that was going to factor into phase two, which is the concept design, which is what we'll be reviewing tonight. So we did conduct that survey process and incorporated the feedback. I think Dashwana is going to talk a little bit more about that. And so we are in phase two right now, and what we have to share with you tonight is two conceptual designs that are further development of those kind of logos and branding. And once we kind of get um, consensus or direction on a preferred direction, the next step would be to develop to finish developing a package that can be used to solicit bids for the construction and installation of the signage. Um, and as we know, there's multiple owners and stakeholders that are involved in this process, and so the idea is to present something that can be phased over time and as desire and capacity allows. Um, Go ahead. Sorry. Oh, I thought I heard someone. Um, so this is just a kind of a recap of the plan and sign placement from the strategy document. We have updated a, a few things based on the feedback from VDOT that Liz alluded to, some of the rules and regulations that they have, one of which is about uh, a clear radius from any signalized traffic intersect or signalized intersections. So as a result, we're proposing to mark the entrance to Lake Anne with two beacon signs, one on either side of the intersection at Barrett and Cameron. And then as you come in, you would see the different types of signage kind of marking the entry to the commercial area and some of these other signs. But today we're really going to be talking mostly about sign A. Um, but you'll see a kind of conceptual design families for how the whole package could look. And this is an example of what we call a signage family. So the different types of signs and the messages that they convey. So you can see, these are kind of entry marking signs. And then we get into directionals that are designed for uh, vehicular entry and then also people on foot. Um, So this is not a design. This is just kind of like a sampling of the types of signs. So we're going to get into the concept design. And Dashwan, did you want to talk a little bit about the logo process?
Yes. So back in October, November of last year, well, we conducted a survey and we put forth four design logo options. And then a lot of people have responded. We got an overwhelming amount of responses. And then between the four of them, it turns out option one and option two were the most liked. And then people like option one for its playfulness and sense of fun. And then also it has a strong graphic impact and memorable shape. People like option two for its kind of reference to Lacan's brutalist architecture, sort of like a mid-century modern type of thing. It was considered pretty modern and clean and simple. And it has good flexibility for merchandise and marketing. So those two logo design options were selected for further refinement. And then Jody will show you what they have done to twist them and refine them in a way that looks a lot more professional and finished.
Thank you. So this is what was option two, and we're now calling this concept A for the signage design. And you can see it's a further development of the modular brutalist logo. There was, we made some updates to the colors based on feedback in the first round. That was kind of the strongest reaction and added a little bit more dimensionality to the logo. Um, and so this is kind of setting the stage for the first signage concept. This is some other inspiration that informs this signage concept. So the clean lines, tectonic and modular language of mid-century architecture with some fun pops of color that kind of add a modern twist. This is the conceptual signage family. So you can see it's pretty simple modular language, and the project beacon is the sign A that would be marking the entrance to Lake Anne. And then each of these signage families would kind of follow a similar language, but be designed for their specific setting and purpose. So we have, yeah, we're showing five here. Um, And then as we get for each, for the selected scheme, we will develop each sign kind of to this level. So we'll go back through each sign and kind of refine the proportions and the details of how it's constructed. But this starts to speak to how it would be made and what it would look like in 3 dimensions. So just the signs won't be illuminated for a number of reasons. So this would be kind of a freestanding metal sign with powder coated color and then push through letters to add some dimensionality to it.
And Jody, the lettering could be like a reflective color. So just like
Mhm.
any highway sign or anything like that, that your headlights shine on it, you're gonna you'll see the lettering. So
Yeah.
it's not like, oh, it's not lit up, we won't see it at night. No, you will.
And we can work with often the way that we work is we'll iron out the details with the fabricator because each fabricator does things slightly differently. So we give them the direction and then they kind of we go back and forth with them on the materials and how to achieve the effect that we want. So concept B is taking inspiration from the other preferred logo, and we did make some changes based on the feedback that we got in the survey, including removing the splash from this logo that was pretty universally unpopular. But we kept the color palette and kind of the general design language of this logo. So the inspiration here is a little bit more based on just kind of the mid-century forms and a little bit more of a sculptural take. So this would be a signage family that that uses that language. So you can see the beacon is um, on a pillar, and then the other signs kind of take this curve, and that carries through the language of the signage family. And here's a detailed view of the project beacon. So again, the letters would add some dimensionality, and also the kind of the two tones of the blue. We can play with the layering of those things to add more dimension. And these are the two side by side. And we welcome any and all comments and impressions and feedback from you all.
Right now?
Yep.
Yeah.
I love both of them. For me, I like the brutalist form of I didn't like any of the four before, but I like both of these. I like the brutalist of the first one, but this one, I so compliment you that A looks like a sail. It it suggests the idea of water. I just think they're both wonderful.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
for
you,
doing this
Monica.
work.
Also, if nobody else is speaking now,
Go ahead.
I think they both turned out really great also. I was very much in favor of what's now concept A. I'm a little disappointed in the change to the color palette. I, uh, it sounds like others felt strongly about that. I think in the original color palette it was a little more primary, and this is tending towards secondary colors, which when I think of brutalist and that level of modernism, and I'm picturing um, Mondrian or something, or Garrett Rietveld's fabulous
Mm-hmm.
furniture. It's always red, blue, black. There's maybe a splash of yellow. And so I would maybe suggest further, if this concept goes forward, which I hope it does, because I really do love it, and I think it's just infinitely adaptable um, in tons of cool ways with the blocky forms but I would, as a designer, I would suggest a third look at the colors.
Thank you.
It's Maggie Parker speaking, and I would absolutely echo. And congratulations, you've done a beautiful job. But love A, and some thought to color would be great.
I like in the minority at this point, I guess. I like B. I like the color that you get there in the sign forms, and almost like the light blue looks like water, like the lake. But both are very nice, nicely done. Thank you.
Thanks.
Hey,
Hi,
Susan,
this is
Susan Burwell. Hello, Susan Burwell.
Go ahead.
Hey,
Hi,
Option
Susan.
A, I like option A because option B, LA just means to me Los Angeles.
Mhm.
And I agree with Melissa about the color palette. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is Maria Sickinger speaking. I don't know if I'm on, if
We
you
can
can
hear
hear
you.
We
me.
can hear you.
Okay. I I like concept A, but I like the colors in concept B. Um, I don't like primary colors, so that's just my personal opinion. I like the dark greens, the dark blues that were traditionally used around the Lake Anne area, and also the use of some. Is there a chance of using any concrete in I don't know what we're calling them exactly, the big monument signage that would be in the median area on um, 606?
You mean for concept B?
Concept A.
Um,
Um, I'm not sure. That one pillar on the far left, that just looks very chopped up and busy to me.
Mm-hmm.
But those are my opinions. I didn't see what was offered in October, so I don't really have a comparison. I did see some of the earlier ones, I think, on maybe the first go around. But anyway, everyone has different opinions, and those are mine. So
Thank
I like
you.
concept A.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
If I can respond to the concrete thing, one of the issues with signage in the right of way is that the posts be breakaway in case, God forbid, a vehicle should go wayward and hit it. So concrete kind of runs counter to that. So I'm not sure I could see concrete worked into anything that's going into the right of way, other than we have it underground like as a foundation, but we can't even have it really pop up above ground.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's a very good point, because I see signs knocked down all the time in the medians.
Yeah.
But I think on the entrance to Lake Anne, sort of just up from Just Cats, isn't there a
Yes.
concrete signage there now,
Mhm.
or
There's
the ends?
a
So
frame. Yes, that could
is
stay. That Jesus, concrete frame could stay, and we could put like see, it's maybe you can zoom in, Jody, to the second one there. Imagine if you
Sorry.
say you wanted to keep that concrete frame, you could take that's like that rectangle. It doesn't have to have that other kind of frame like it's in, and it could go into the say that concrete thing.
yeah, like the one on the far right seems better to me. It's not quite as busy.
This
It's
one?
still in concept A.
Oh, sorry. Mm-hmm.
The far
Just to
right,
Yeah,
which
just
one?
to the right of where that
Mhm.
man
Yeah.
is. But anyway, those were just some thoughts. So,
Yeah. No, that's great.
and I tend to like the browns, the greens, and the blues,
Mhm.
just gray
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
not primaries.
yeah. Yeah, the pedestal design we had to move away from for the beacon, but some of the other signs that are not in the VDOT controlled right of way could have a different design. So that's just an add-on to what Liz was saying.
Hey, this is Susan Burwell, a merchant.
Hmm.
I don't know in far right or next to it. What about directories? Could you talk about that?
Yeah, so I apologize. The labels are not on this page with the two schemes side by side, but we can go back.
Of course, but are they easily modified?
That would be the intent. We have not designed the details of that yet. The step is to kind of approve the concept. But yes, the intent would be that things could be easily modified, whether that is something that slides in and out or whether it's vinyl letters, but not something that is onerous and expensive to swap out if the names change of the businesses.
Good, thanks. I've been there since 1978, but hey, there are other businesses that have changed.
Yes, that is definitely a factor. Thanks.
Not sure if everybody saw it, but thank you to Bob for the post that just went into the chat. Apparently, Lake Anna has a logo that's basically identical to the concept on the right. So probably
Oh,
for Lake Anna to have almost identical logo concepts.
wow, our
Hmm.
design
Yeah,
team
because
did
they're
not
what,
catch
60
Okay,
miles
no, thank
away?
you.
that. Good catch.
Hmm.
There has
Wow.
been a strong reaction to the LA just in general, like, without the Lake Ann, yeah, there's been a strong reaction to that.
Melissa, did you mean Lake Anna is similar to Concept B?
No, it was Bob
Oh, I'm
Vaughter.
sorry.
I'm sorry.
Water,
Yeah,
yeah. Um,
yeah, Bob can speak.
sure. Yeah, so Lake Anna is what, 60 miles away, and the logo mark that they're using in their marketing image, they're also using an LA word mark. You'll see that if you visit their marketing website here. But that's awfully close, both
Oh,
in name and location and general design. So I think that would tend to uh, weigh heavily against option B at the moment.
It
Mm.
also looks like it would be a total copyright infringement or trademark infringement, sorry.
People
I-
already confuse us when I describe where we are. They go, "Oh, you mean Lake Anna?" No, Lake Ann.
Yeah.
Concept A for the win, everybody.
Good feedback. Yeah, it's pretty that pretty much narrows it down.
Yeah. And revisiting colors is not a difficult thing to do.
What's the second sign, whether it's A or B concept? What that's in the median, not the median, but the entrance, is it?
Jody, go back to the page.
Yeah.
For
So
concept A, yeah.
what we were thinking
Oh, the
is
gateway.
that we would offer it as oh yeah, sorry, the map is.
There you go. There you go.
You want the map or this one?
No, well, this
Yeah.
one's
The map.
easy.
Yeah, as a gateway directional, but we would
Yeah.
also look at a version that could work with the existing concrete frames because
That's what I was trying to
Yeah.
describe. Imagine if you took sort of it's like a rectangle within that concrete mid-century frames that you have on sort of either side of that convenience store, and that we could. This is sort of a freestanding, but you could design something that could go in there and replace that. So we can look at that if you want to keep. And I don't know if they're historic, but I'm guessing they might be those concrete frames.
no, we built those in the
Oh, really?
90s or the early 2000s.
Huh.
We
Okay.
didn't have anything at all before.
Gotcha.
I see.
Oh, we might have had a wooden sign.
Okay.
Jody, can you scroll back to your color palette for concept A?
Yep.
And the reason I guess I think maybe I was sort of, I mean, I'm not offended by this kind of color palette, but one thing that might be worth considering, the current color palette for the existing logo, I think was based off of the original color flag markers that hung around the J.
Okay.
If I'm not wrong, and Martha, you may know more about this than I.
I do.
But that it might be almost worth, if there's like a kickback to nostalgia, looking to find to revisit, not saying to use the exact same color palette, but it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to maintain the color palette or some parts of it historically, and
Right.
bring that in. Instead of introducing this, something about this that's just like with the green and the lime green, it doesn't feel Lake Anne to me. I do love the blues and the red, but there's something about it that it feels neither brutalist nor mid-century nor Lake Anne to me, this color palette. That's just my original thought.
No, I think that's right. I think the intent was to kind of try to layer on a fresh modern twist with the brutalist form. So I don't think you're misreading the intention necessarily.
I agree with Melissa. I think Melissa is the queen of mid-century modern. So what color palette would you recommend, Melissa?
Oh, you're
Can't hear
muted.
you.
You're muted.
Melissa, you're on mute.
Melissa?
Sorry, I said if it gives me any cred, I'm sitting in my vintage Eames chair.
Oh,
It
wow.
does.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Melissa is
Thank you for that compliment, Susan. I do consider myself a hoarder of mid-century modern, well, chairs first and foremost, but also things in
okay.
general.
You are the
I don't know.
mid-century modern
I'm not the
queen.
designer here.
You are the queen of mid-century modern. So what color palette would you recommend?
I don't know that I want to answer that question right now. I'd put some thought into it if there's, open to suggestions. But I think if Jody, if you scroll back to your design inspiration page, that I think was the next one where you show, no, gosh, yeah, I guess not. I was picturing other images in my brain, I guess.
This one has more.
Melissa, were the colors that are in the current sign Are those, is that the color palette and that was the flags around the J
It's
block?
not exactly. We have the
No.
brand book. I think
Yeah,
Can I talk about the flags?
yeah, oh yeah, somebody that knows more about them should talk about them
Yeah,
rather than
I managed that whole project, and what we did was we put up banners, and I have pictures that I can send you,
Okay.
Daquan and everybody on the team. They were from the top of the chimney house ceiling down to the to where the bottom of the balconies overhanging the commercial units, and they each had 3 long strips of fabric, and we didn't choose anything except a prism. This was the mid 90s. Unfortunately, the contractor built them wrong, sewed them wrong, and so they were 2 feet short, and so they didn't last too long. And the residential owners complained about the wind whistling through the flags and causing too much noise in their house. So they only lasted a few years, but they were replaced. That color element was replaced by Eve through Fola several years later when she put up the multicolored umbrellas. So it sort of, and then those sort of disappeared. So yeah, I would also ask the princess of mid-century modern to come up with a palette.
we can take those comments under consideration, and we have the brand book. Melissa has generously shared that with us a while back, so we can kind of take that and take another look.
I wanted to say one more thing if I could, and then I promise I'll shut up. When you go back to the picture, the first picture of concept B, where you showed the pulpit.
This one or no?
No, the concrete pulpit on the far left hand of the side. It has
I
the
think it's
pulpit
concept
on
A,
the,
actually.
oh, was it A?
I think it was in
It was
A.
A.
Yeah, there it is.
You know, that's the picture that resonates with me. When I think of Lake
Mhm.
Anne, and I've been here since 1978, I think of this shape, the square on a pole. And I see it here in concept A, but then I see the shape of this sign over in concept B.
Mm-hmm.
I like the printing of Lake Anne here. I like how it doesn't confuse us with Lake Anna. But to me, something happens when I look at that first picture and I see that pulpit. I wish there was a way, actually, and I have to say, I'm not sure it says Lake Anne 1963 on it, but I could be easily wrong.
Yes.
Does it really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've missed that since 1978. That's the image that resonates Lake Anne for me. And it's interesting that it's in concept B, A, when the shape of it is in concept B.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we sort of repeated the shape, I would say, in concept A. So it's modular with the square kind of in different sizes within sort of the modular framework.
It's the stem, it's the pole.
The form of
like
the
the two
pulpit is
poles.
echoed in the form of the sign in concept
Oh, I
B.
see what you mean.
It's a cube
Okay.
on top of a stick. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Well, Martha, the pulpit is very good for pontificating. So we know this.
Which we do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's possible to share screen, but I think from the beginning, my thought about this concept, and this was definitely the one that I chose and liked and left comments about in the survey, but it's very Mondrian to me. So when I see it, maybe it's just because when I see it and I see a Mondrian painting and those are the colors that I see. So I don't know if that's too literal, but in some way that's what I want to see, that's the color palette that I want to see on those geometric shapes. I think it's very appropriate. But that's just my 2 cents, I guess.
And that's more the primary red, yellow, blue.
May I share my screen?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
Yeah, you should be able to. There's a share button on the bottom.
Yep. This is just yes. Oops, you don't want to see that one. Oh, can you see it, or are you seeing my greenhouse deck permit right now?
No, we can see it.
We can see it.
I'm on
Yeah,
the right
using a
screen.
marginal opinion.
I have multiple windows open here. I just realized I might be.
Yes, love it, love it, love it, love it.
I mean, that's classic, you know, period uh, art, and
Very Mondrian. Yeah.
yeah, this is Mondrian, right? And so the signage is very, very Mondrian, right? Um, so yeah, I guess that's where I kind of go when I see this. Um, let's see, I think there's maybe some other. The other thing that I thought of initially was Garrett Rietveld, and if anybody has ever seen his chairs or iconic pieces that he designed, they're all in that same color. I think my thing's in the way here, but this is the Rietveld House uh, in the Netherlands, and it is much like Hickory Cluster designed, panels and
Mhm.
geometric shapes, and then the walls are primary colored inside, similar to, Le Corbusier was the same, but, he put a bright
Mhm.
wall in and everything else was smooth white concrete. But this is absolutely what I thought of when I saw that original design signage. So the whites, the grays, and then, the concrete, which is so important at Lake Anne, and then the pops of color that are just primary and yeah, that's totally where my brain went with this concept. So, and some of his incredible furniture that he designed that all winds up in this, in this movement, in the Gestalt. So, anywho,
Yeah.
my 2 cents.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
You can
This
my
is
sharing.
this is Maria again. I just regarding the colors again, I just really would want to see the trees of Reston, the remaining trees of Reston honored. And to me, blue, green, and brown, and gray and concrete are the colors. And I don't know, maybe one or two other colors, but there's something about red, blue, and yellow that I've never personally cared for it. But again, that is just my opinion, and I know I am always possibly in the minority on that one, but I don't like primary colors together.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you, Maria. They're not colors I would choose for myself either. But which is why I suggested maybe considering that sort of alt palette that is a little bit more like the current palette of Lake Anne, which is a subdued version of primaries. And it
Yeah.
does have it does have more than just the 3 primaries.
Yes. Okay.
So, and in that sense, actually, the color palette from the other concept that was shared that has sort of the more muted blue, and the richer like green. There was just something a little
That's
off
pretty.
to me personally with like the lime and aqua.
Yeah. I do like the colors in concept B.
Yeah. We did get a lot of feedback. Melissa, I understand what you're saying about the primary colors, and I don't think we would go straight primary. We did get a lot of feedback about, wanting it to feel a little more sophisticated than that. And I think that is also what you're saying. So I think I understand it's like inspiration and a nod to, but not literally
It
the
would be
blue,
fun
yellow, red.
this color palette or one more like our current color palette, but even just taking this color palette in a 2-second exercise and superimposing it on the other concept to see what comes. You might strike a magic in there somewhere, or some other version of this color palette that comes out of that playful image that you had on the next slide.
Yeah.
Although, but whatever. That palette, although, I love the orange in that, of course. The off red, the off green, the sort of lakey blue. I think those are really nice.
Those are really nice colors, I think.
We're talking about this poster here.
Yeah.
Where you've got like kind of the golden amber, those are the colors that they're primary without being primary.
Yeah.
I like the picture in the upper right, the statue, the monument there.
Yeah, that's a nice too.
if we had the umbrellas back or banners somewhere and reflected those colors around the plaza. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All these things are good ideas.
Heard.
Have we given you enough food for thought?
That's been
Another
great for me.
a consideration for the color, if these signs are going to be made with powder coated anything, uh, depending on how good the UV stabilization is in the powder coat, you're going to see aging and fading of the colors. So that is a concern if these signs are going to be up for more than a couple of years.
Right, and some colors
Yeah,
are more
you
color
want to
fast
pick
than
colors
others.
that are going to fade nicely. If you
Mhm.
go with these relatively unsaturated pastel colors, they're going to look washed out immediately, and probably it'll get even more washed out as the sun beats on them.
Mhm. Thanks.
Good point.
All right. Liz, anything else you want to ask about
No,
or
I think it's
you're
pretty
good?
clear, the sign direction. I think we just gotta play around with some colors, and I think maybe if we do a few renditions, we can share that back out with the group and you know, maybe when you see it, you'll know it, or you'll see something like, no, that's not right, or this is closer to this, or I think we could do a little color tweaking.
Yeah.
Well,
But
Liz, let me
consistent,
just, oh, Jody, go ahead.
I was just going to say to the group, since it's not a huge gathering tonight, that the feedback has been pretty consistent throughout.
Well, and Jody, I was just going to add, this is Lake Ann at its best. So thank you all for everybody who's contributed to this. And Liz, I know there was a conflict or two, so if folks have additional thoughts or comments, they can do that. Is that right?
Yes, and
Yeah.
we're gonna post this recording. We'll post the slides as well. And we'll and you all can spread the word as well with your friends and neighbors to view that. And then when we'll regroup and talk about, mixing up the colors a little bit and probably send those out for further refinement and comment. But I think we have a clear sign winner now. We just gotta get the color right.
Yep. And that will also allow us to further develop the design, so it'll look a little
Yes,
more
yes.
refined the next time it comes out. So thank you all very much for your time. It's always appreciated.
I agree. Thanks, Job.
Thank you
Great
all for
Yeah,
job.
thank
putting
you, Street
together.
Sense.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good
Thanks for
night,
attending
all.
with us, Walter.